Hi, I'm Jeff Thomas, Athletic Director of the Rosendale-Brandon School District, grades 6 through 12. And today I will be sharing with you the athletic code for the middle school, grades 6 through 8 for 2018-19. If you would like to follow along, page 1, you'll find the table of contents. Page 2, the philosophy and objective. The Rosendale-Brandon School District believes that athletics are an important part of education, that a variety of sports should be offered for both boys and girls. Participation in athletics is a privilege. Athletes must learn the following established rules of conduct, training, and to learn to work with others so they are a credit to themselves, their families, their school, and the community. Athletes are expected to conduct themselves with pride and efforts, regardless of winning or losing, and to realize that teams we compete against are composed of people who also will be giving their best. Responsibilities of an athlete. The privilege of participating in the Rosendale-Brandon School District athletic programs is extended to all students, provided they are willing to accept certain responsibilities. The greatest responsibility is to uphold the honor of the school and community at all times, both on and off the field. Therefore, it is expected that all athletes display good citizenship, display good sportsmanship, and display respect for those in authority, teammates, opposing teams, officials, and their coaches. Eligibility rules. It's important for a middle school athlete at least once to view this video prior to participation in sports. So if they are a 6th grader or 7th grader, this is a requirement to view this video. Squad selection at the middle school level. There are no cuts, 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade. The Rosendale-Brandon School District believes that at the middle school level, every eligible athlete must be given playing time in a scheduled activity, and that there is, again, a no-cut policy enforced. And a reminder, an opportunity to play. There is no equal time, an opportunity to play. The student must be of full-time attendance status. All students must be doing passing work in all his or her classes per quarter. Important, need to be in school, full-time status, unless a pre-excused absence form has been used prior to the absence. If they are too sick to be in school, they're too sick to play. They would not be eligible for any practice or game that evening. Conduct requirements. Again, training rules are a matter of self-discipline. An individual's best performance is possible only after the body and the mind have been conditioned through regular training routine. This code is to be followed by all participants in athletics, and also by those seeking reinstatement after suspensions or rulings of ineligibility. No use or possession of illegal drugs, look-alike drugs, or controlled substances, steroids or other performance-enhancing drugs, no smoking, possession, or use of tobacco products, look-alike tobacco products, including electronic cigarettes, as well as vaping. No drinking, possession of alcoholic beverages, no conviction of misdemeanors, felonies, no theft, stealing, no plagiarism or cheating. The Rosendale-Brandon School District does have in place self-reporting code violations. Student must report within 72 hours of the violation. Students may self-report to any Rosendale-Brandon head coach or school administrator. The self-report must take place prior to a head coach or school administrator calling for or speaking with any student about the alleged incident. Reduced penalty for self-reports are applicable to first violation only. If all elements of self-reporting are properly met, the first violation penalty will be reduced to half of the first offense, that was not self-reported. School behavior. The school coach reserves the right to suspend an athlete for violations of school rules not related to athletic activities. This rule applies during the sports season, which is defined from the day of the first practice through the last scheduled game. At the middle school level, an athlete receiving a major detention will be suspended for half of one game. An athlete receiving a second major detention will be suspended for a full game. Each subsequent major detention will result in a 2-game suspension. An athlete receiving an in-school suspension will be suspended for 1 game. Each subsequent ISS in-school suspension will result in a 2-game suspension. The school holds the right to suspend an athlete for circumstances that may occur which deal with the violation of school rules that are not necessarily related to athletic activities. Vandalism, insubordination, profanity, obscene gestures, plagiarism, cheating, theft, threats, harassment, bullying, and conviction of a criminal offense need to be considered under this guideline. Code requirements. Again, athletes must attend scheduled practices and work hard to earn playing time in games. Athletes are under the authority of their coaches and must obey all team rules. An unexcused absence from a practice or game will result in disciplinary action. Each athlete is responsible for their own school equipment. Should they misplace, lose, they will need to replace that uniform and pay the full costs. An athlete must attend school for the full day, be eligible to play in games that day. However, students will be allowed to participate in extracurricular activities if the absence is pre-excused as prescribed by their school handbook. The school district furnishes transportation to and from all athletic contests in a school vehicle, with the exception of soccer and hockey. Any other mode of transportation to contests must have prior approval of the athletic director. There are occasions when return trips with parents may occur. The parent must sign a consent form before they leave. Concussion. The law requires all youth athletic organizations to educate coaches, athletes, and parents on risks of concussions. There is a concussion form by law needs to be signed by the athlete and its parents prior to participating the first day in a sport. Amateur status. It's important that if your son or daughter would receive any awards, that you check the athletic handbook before they receive that award. There is a dollar amount and value to awards that can be received to keep their amateur status. Prior to an athlete participating in sports at the middle school level, in all levels, a physical exam form needs to be on file. If there is a physical exam form on file here at the school, the following year they would only need an alternate card, which would be a yellow card. There is an athletic fee at the middle school level. This year it is $25. Emergency form. This year something new. The emergency form will be sent home with your athlete the first day of practice. It needs to be returned the next day. We ask the parents to look over the emergency form. It'll be pre-filled in from information from the previous year. Need you to look through and make sure all information is correct and update, and then sign. And then your son or daughter needs to return the following day. Athletic code video needs to be viewed at least once prior to participation at the middle school level. And then parent athletic agreement form, which again is the concussion form. These are all available on our website. Should and there be an athletic code violation, and should a parent and athlete request in writing of an appeal, they need to do so within 14 days. The appeal process will then be heard by the high school principal, athletic director, 2 board members, a parent at large, and a school teacher, both approved by the board. On page 6, you will find that there are penalties for violations within the 1 calendar year from date of offenses are as follows. First offense, a 2-game suspension. Second offense, a 6-game suspension. Third offense, suspension for 180 school days. And fourth offense will be suspended from any Rosendale-Brandon activities governed by the athletic code booklet. Suspensions will begin with the first contest that the athlete is out for and will be prorated and carried over from one sport to another until suspension is completed. Suspensions may only be counted at 1 level competition per sport. If violators intend to participate with a team when their suspension runs out, they must practice with that team until their suspension is ended, and then they may participate in games as a team member in good standing. General rules: an athletic wishing to transfer from one sport to another must gain permission in writing from both coaches involved. No transfer will be allowed if the athlete is under disciplinary action. If an athlete misses practice and is unexcused, the athlete will be suspended for the next contest. Competing on club teams or practices is not an excused absences. Other rules will be established by the head coach of each sport in writing, and a copy handed out to each participant and athletic director on or before the first day of practice. Athletes are under the authority of their coaches, and refusal to obey reasonable orders of a coach can be grounds for immediate suspension or dismissal. All reports of violations must be submitted within 30 days in writing and signed by the person making the report. Plagiarism, cheating offenses only will result in the following. First offense will be a classroom teachable moment and will be handled as a school offense, not an athletic code violation. Second offense will be an athletic code violation and 1-game suspension. Third offense and subsequent offenses will result in suspension for 10% of a season for each offense. Each athlete is responsible again for their school equipment. Should they lose or should they misplace or it become damaged, they again will be held responsible for the cost of replacement. The school district furnishes transportation to and from all away athletic contests in a school vehicle. Any mode of transportation to contests must have prior approval of the athletic director. There are occasions when return trips with parents may occur. The parents must sign a consent form before they leave. Community night will be recognized on Wednesdays. All K through 8 school-related functions are to be completed by 6:45. This code cannot anticipate all forms of misconduct that a student could engage in. Therefore, other forms of misconduct not specifically stated in this code that are deemed inappropriate by the coach or athletic or activity director may be penalized in accordance with this law or this code. In addition, eligibility for co-curricular activities may be regulated in conjunction with district discipline policies. The athletic code is enforced 12 months out of the year. And a reminder, Laconia, at the Rosendale-Brandon School District website, you can find all sports calendars and schedules. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. You can contact me at school or email me, and I'll try and help out with any questions or concerns you may have. Thank you.